Hello, you fantastic bunch. No respawns here. So I have got a mixed texture structure for you. A sort of slightly militarized build. I don't know why I just got that for. But a sort of slightly militarized look. Well, that's the look I'm going for. That was what I kind of had in my head. For whatever that is worth. So it should be quite grand. Because I've been kind of playing around with the metal pieces a wee bit. And I'm trying to make something, you know, semi-decent. I'm actually going to... a bit of lag there. Taking its sweet time. There we go. Please don't do that very often. Ah, good. Okay, it was just a bit of burst of server hiccuping, as it does. As we do. And we're making... I've got things. So, right, this is the main structure. This is where things are happening, and then we're also going to have a couple of bits on the side. Now, playing in with the mixing in with the different textures, I'm also mixing with different just kind of ways of positioning structures down. So what I'm going to do is I've got this this platform here, and I'm going to hold A build, and I'm going to hold, I think I keep forgetting, is it LB? I'm using an Xbox controller, the non-trigger buttons, right? And I'm going to press that, and it's going to go up. Now it's going to go red, and I'm going to let go of build. And it's going to snap down to exactly where I want it. And I'll put on there. And again like that. So I raise it up. I'm sure it should function the exact same way on PS4 or if PC using a mouse as well. It'll just snap down to the closest possible point, which means these are perfectly in line with each other. I've been having fun. I've been playing so much Fallout 76 recently. I've had a crafty 4-day weekend because I've been absolutely... working my ass off at my new job, and my brain needed a rest, and during that time I have been playing quite a lot of Fallout 76. Most notably, I now have a new character. Well, I have basically my first character, who now actually is leveled in a reasonably cool way, which is kind of what I was trying to do. The reason being is, for the next build video, it will be built on my other character, which means I won't have to keep tearing this guy's bases down. Which was really getting me quite depressed. I was really... it was one of the reasons why I wasn't building as many videos and like trying to do like gameplay stuff, which I'll still try and do. But quite simply put, because obviously we only have one camp in Fallout 76, I was getting a little bit, I guess for lack of a word, but down that all of my funky little bases were being torn up. Whereas now I don't have to worry about that, which is quite refreshing. Well, I won't have to worry about that. The other guy is nearly finished. The reason why I kind of started a new character is because that guy was leveled really, really poorly. Like, he had no combat skills. And as you know, once you get into the end game, if you can't do combat very well, you're kind of screwed a wee bit. Right. I want it... Which direction do I want it? I want it more on the outside, don't I? Oh, yeah, I'm only doing it one side, aren't I? Oh, yeah. I've been I've played around with this structure so much that I can't remember which version I'm doing. Now I remember which version I'm doing. Right, so the reason being is I wanted kind of like just a little bit of a raised section over here. And we're also gonna... Is that a police siren outside my house? Oh, it wouldn't be a build video without a police siren. A fun fact, and I've mentioned this several times, I don't actually normally get police sirens around my house, with the exception of when I make a build video and it sort of summons them up. So that's a thing. But yes, I have been playing Fallout 76 a lot recently. The Wild Wasteland kind of series of updates have got me kind of right back into it quite a lot. Mostly just grinding for legendaries and doing events. It's quite fun. Right. Okay, this is my little entrance area. It's quite cool. I'm having a grand old time. Right, so next I'm going to blink and remember what I was doing. Next we're going to mix up the different textures. I'll have a bit of a texture mixing. There you go. I think with the metal is I just don't really like the way it looks, but I kind of want to use it and try it out. I've a bit of a kind of a love-hate, mostly just hate with these metal pieces. And I'm like thinking, okay, how can I utilize them without making them look utter bollocks? And I think this might look cool. It might not, to be honest. It might look awful. We'll sort of find out, won't we? Well, actually, I mean, I think it looks alright because I already built it. Slightly tweaking it a little bit. Have I done this right? That way. I'm trying to remember exactly what I did, if you probably guessed. I find with Fallout 76, I do kind of really need to practice the builds quite a lot first before I fully commit, otherwise they look like shit, basically. I run out of materials halfway through, or I just generally forget what I'm doing. Will these stairs go in? That is the question. And you... I find the concrete stairs are just generally a bit more forgiving. For whatever reason, they're just a bit nicer. A little bit less cruel and malicious, which is always grand. Right, what are we doing? Whoop. So, I did change the roof a little bit in the last video. The roof was a bit... Not last video, the original version of this, the roof was a little different. I decided to mix things up because it's my channel. I can do what I want. Right, are we doing it like that? Like that? Like that? Gonna stick over there, you bull bag? Nope, you're gonna... Not gonna let me place that first, are you? You're just gonna be an absolute prick. It's fine, 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 that's alright. I've mentioned this a million times. I bang this drum quite a lot, but in Fallout 76, it's all about build order. Should I try this? I might tear this part down, so indulge me, because I'm gonna try and change it up a little bit, because I like experimenting. I will remember. I've shown you this area on the map about a million times, but I will show you again if you want to be reminded. I might. Shall I mix the structures up? Or does that look good? Before I even... yeah, actually that looks not bad. It blends into that structure a little bit more, so let's do that. Oh, it's getting a bit dark. The sun's just gone behind the wee thingy right there. We'll have to manage. Right, I think I'm going to have another strip of metal, just so we can mix up the structures a wee bit. I'm going to bang this drum a lot, but Bethesda, could you just give me more building bits, please? Thank you. Get in there, you shit bag. Alright. Right way around. Thank you. I could put metal in there. I'm not gonna, because shut up. So it's mixing up the textures a little bit. The thing is ultimately, I just personally don't think the metal looks very, very good. But sometimes you have to kind of, well, one, if you've got a YouTube channel, you have to try and make something with it. And two, it's kind of just, I guess, fun to play around. So I've nearly actually done this already. It was quite a simple one. I've also newfound love of these things. They're amazing. Just thought I'd let you know that. They just make for nice little enclave areas. You can leave that one like that, actually. And then we'll sort of just pop one here like this. Loving the concrete is what I'm doing. Loving it. Oh, and falling down a bit as well. You can tell I've already been here because I've left my decontamination shower. Basically, because this is my main character, and this is obviously, I've mentioned before, my favourite location for building. I didn't want to place another base, so I just sort of just packed up everything, with the exception of the decontamination shower, because I'm super paranoid that it might like disappear or something. And as you probably know, it's a complete ball ache to grind for. Stupid frickin' flux takes ages. It's quite satisfying though, I must admit. Getting these straights is a bit of a ball ache, but if you just do this, you should be able to just use those as a gauge, and then pull yourself back, and shove them to the side a bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's put in a couple more at the side, because I want little areas. Do a little I just think it looks really nice as a way of kind of like little enclosures for putting, well, in my instance it's going to be farms or generators. Okay, let's pop that one there like that. Let's make a little custom bespoke version, shall we? Actually, I can just do that and then do that, can't I? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yes, I can. I have to raise that one up a bit. I'll move you in a wee bit. Let's do that instead. Jobs are good un. Nearly a good one. Will be a good one. Just when I get these in. These concrete barricades are just nice. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, as you can see, looks amazing. Very, very simple. Very, very smooth. Let's put a couple at the top here as well. And we are grand. And then I'll do a decorating. And you can see it in all its glory. It's just quite... I wanted something that was kind of relatively quick to set up. Do it that way. Relatively quick to set up. The reason why I'm using these, by the way, is you can't actually snap these ones on anywhere. You can, but you need to actually extend out the walkway, and I don't want to do that because it looks shit. Because it hangs off the edge too much. So we're going to sort of do like a sort of barricades, but just in these corners, effectively. Is the plan. And in you go. Yeah! Yeah, you've got these little kind of spine areas. And it is pretty cool, I think. Pretty cool. Right, I'm going to decorate this, add a bit more flair to it, and then we can see this quite nice little survival structure in all its glory. One sec. And here we are. So, I'm pretty pleased with this, actually. Normally, my plan was to initially have this as kind of like, okay, I'm going to build one last thing and then revert back to my old base. But I think I might actually use this for a while, because I kind of went a little bit overboard on the decoration on the inside, and I quite like it. So, but first, let's give you a wee tour. So as you can see, I've made use, and I've added a few more of these little concrete barricade sections here. I've added a few turrets. I really do want to actually get round to getting maybe like the heavy laser turrets, especially now with the fact that they've changed around how much of your camp limit they actually use. However, it's still pretty grand. I've got loads of these wee little farms with little spiky things in front because of the fact that mole rats like to appear. I used to have and I might actually plop him down, a Brahmin around here, but quite simply put, it's really annoying to record a video with those things yelp and mooing away, so I decided to just quickly hide it. Got a wee little farm here, which is very, very good. Annoyingly, the freaking bloody razor grain really has this quite odd kind of... You can't really place it very close to ledges, or certain edges, rather, but sometimes you can, so it's a bit difficult. I really wish they would make it a little bit more flexible in placing. I've got my 2 water purifiers. Realistically, in the ideal world, you'd want, maybe a pond near you, and then, actually some industrial bigger ones where you can get like 10 water per time. But, however, these do, and the 4 water you get kind of mucks up quite quickly. Got my wee generator here. It's all good. Right, now let's pop inside, because it is a little bit over the top, and I think you'll like it. I've also got my decontamination arch, which weirdly enough, I don't know which thing, that button doesn't actually do anything, unless it's just mine, but it always just uses that switch, which is weird, because obviously playing Fallout 4, it actually does. Right, just pop inside. I deliberately chose a little bit later in the day, so the lighting on the inside looks better. So it's pretty... had a little fun, shall we say. I figured, I've mentioned this a few times, but because obviously it's difficult to make something which looks, shall we say, realistic in terms of made by the developers, instead I make something which looks realistic in the confines of a player-made home. And I made something quite silly, and well, let's be honest, it would probably be really difficult to sleep in here with all these lights on. But I could even make a switch, actually. I should do that at some point. But yeah, no, I'm really pleased with the way this looks, because it's just weird. It's just bizarre, and I love that. So I've got my wee bed. I've got loads of the billboards. I've got loads of photos, loads of just random nonsense around. I love this little area, and a little kind of the corridor is quite nice. It's got a surprisingly large amount of space in here. Like, I even tested out both these workbenches you can use quite comfortably. So often, many of you have had this issue where you try and cram these stuff in closer, and if you can see, sometimes your character won't actually be able to initiate using the workbench, which is a bit of a ball ache. However, this is fine. Interestingly to note, so I deliberately made this little kind of weird little thing in the center. The reason being is the lighting from this lamp is the best lighting you can get. If I take that away, this room just looks quite... I'm not going to do it because I'll have to pull that nonsense back. But basically, this room would just not look as nice, and it won't have this same warm glow, because these don't actually give off much light. So overall, I'm very, very chuffed with the way this looks. And I'm actually, as I mentioned, I'm actually probably going to keep this as my home for quite a while. Initially, I was just going to tear everything down, and yeah, and leave it as it is. So anyway, I hope you guys liked that and gave you a few ideas. I'm quite pleased about just kind of mixing the separate textures, and also just... I do like these little kind of little edge bits, and the way just kind of putting foundations next to the side of the building. It just gives you kind of extra levels and just adds a little bit more texture to the outside. And I have fallen in love with these kind of concrete barriers, because you can again add texture to the outside of the building, but also give yourself kind of slightly unique little enclosures, and just kind of, rather than just randomly placing food down, randomly placing generators down or whatever, you can instead turn it into these quite funky little enclosures. Anyway, so as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I will have more videos up soon. Now that I've got my second Fallout 76 character, as I said, he's nearly done. I'm just going to probably jump and bother a mate to actually pick up a load of the recipes that this guy has, so I can transfer over. Noticeably, a lot of the duplicate decoration recipes I got from the Fashion Act event, but also just kind of, you know, grind a few other recipes and caps, and just generally get it so I can actually comfortably harvest materials in that person without them getting murdered by stuff. So expect, what I'm going to say is expect hopefully a lot more Fallout 76 videos, or at least just kind of a one weekly build video is what I'm going to try and get back into the habit of doing, because I won't have to feel like I tear down my, quote, main base anymore, which is going to be quite nice. And obviously I've got a bit of a backlog of non-Fallout games I've got to be playing. Some CD keys I've gotten for developers as well, so I do need to kind of get on with that. Just for the sake of, you know, someone's offered me this CD key, it's only fair that I at least make one video on it, because I did request the damn thing. So expect stuffs on various other games as well, which should be fun. Oh, as a note as well, because I'd set this up probably a couple of weeks ago, and I was going to mention the last video and I completely forgot. Because of the way people have been poking me about this for ages, so I've decided to set up a Patreon. Now, couple of little things about this is I'm only doing this, one, because obviously they're doing the rule changes, and two, because people have been requesting it. So what I've gone and done, I'm being as transparent as possible with this. So it literally just has one tier, which is just $1. I tried to even limit it. Annoyingly, you don't think you can actually put limits on what people donate, because I'd rather not anyone give any more than that. And I've just called it like a little tip jar. As I said, this is just if you know, it's just there. I'll put it in the link will be in the description from now on. If you want to, go right ahead. Absolutely no requirement whatsoever. So I'm not a struggling creative in any way, shape, or form. You know, I have a decent paying job, you know, 9 to 5, so it's not as if it's something I need. But if you ever feel like you want to just, I don't know, buy me a pint, then by all means, you can become like a Patreon contributor person, or whatever it's described. And also, just as a note, I won't be like providing. It literally is just a tip jar, yeah? I won't be providing anything, because I know what I'm like. I'm really, really lazy. And if I start saying, oh, I'll do all this stuff, I won't actually do it. Anyway, on that rambly end, I'm going to leave you be. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. You take care.